So, I finally made it to 600 subscribers.
Hey, congratulations, it's a celebration. Party all day, moving weight.
So, originally, I wanted my 600 subscribers special to be me ranking every single tower in Rala. But, if I do that, then the video is going to be posted later on after I gain 600 subscribers. And I still have quite a lot of work to do with that. So I decided to pick up another project I kind of lost motivation on for a little bit, and I worked on it again, and it's finally finished. I hope it is. Knowing me, I probably forgot something, but it's whatever. So remember when I made remember when I made my top 10 beacons list? Um, that video sucks. It's outdated, very vague. Like my third favorite beacon was the modern 300 millimeter. I mean, the old school 300 millimeter. Which one? The same with my number four. Same with the number four spot in that video, which was the modern 300 millimeter. Like what? What? So vague. It's not, what? Any specific? And I also did make some major changes too that probably, well, I mean, yeah, there is one major change that makes my top 20 beacons video outdated too, so I'll probably have to remake that one day. Originally, I wanted to remake the rarest beacon video that I made too, somewhere around the same time I made the original video to this. But I decided to remake this instead since that other video is not important. I already know this video is going to stir up a lot of controversy and drama, which I love drama. Not, but it's what. So hopefully this video isn't going to be too controversial. Just don't be Aiden. Please don't be Aiden. But this is all purely my opinion. Welcome to my top 10 beacons version 2.0. Number 10. The FH307. I really like the FH307. Back then, I always thought this beacon was very rare, like one of the rarest beacons you can see on a tower. But obviously, it isn't. Because look at all the TV towers that shine white and red. It has high intensity strobes for day mode, but where does it get its night mode most of the time? These beacons, this specific beacon provides TV towers and other very tall towers with high intensity strobes a red night mode. And tall towers with that specific beacon setup, which is called the F8 FTB 205 setup, 225 setup, they're very common with very tall structures. They have not, they haven't been affected as badly as the other towers in the big LED takeover. This beacon is pretty cool because it's you can kind of do whatever you want with it. You can even give it a day mode. Oh, speaking of day modes and night mode, I forgot to go through information. That's what I'm supposed to do. This beacon's a red only beacon. I call this the famous red strobe. It's a it's FA type L864, which means it's red. It has a 20 flash print night mode, which is the good one, not the FTS 371. And then that's the only night mode it has, but you can give it more night modes. If you're like John Boy OK or to some extent Sean, you can change the night modes. You can even give it a day mode. You can manipulate it quite a lot to something that's not supposed to be. You can give it all three night modes that the FH308 has, plus a day and other things. So that's another thing I like about this beacon. Oh, and it's also cool to see a tower that only has this beacon. So every time I said this beacon was very rare, I actually meant that it's only rare. It's only rare when it comes to just normal towers, like normal everyday cell towers. Like all the red and white towers you usually see, they never have FH07s or just red strobes in general. They usually have 300 millimeters or red only LEDs or something else. In my area, a lot of red and white towers that have strobes, half the time they have white only strobes, which I heard that's pretty rare everywhere else. So that's another thing that Missouri has going for us, basically. This beacon also has my favorite night mode, so that's another reason why I really like it. But when it comes to being cool, it's not as cool as some of the other beacons. So that's the reason why it's all the way on the last pick. Okay, never mind. All the way at the bottom of the all the way at the bottom of the list. So it might be pretty cool. I mean, a pretty good beacon and all this stuff. It's not the coolest beacon. Number 9, the HP FG3000B. It's white and red, FAA type L865, L864, which also means white and red. The reason why I even added that information is to make me look professional, because a lot of the other tower enthusiasts usually replace white and red with L865 and L864, which L865 is white and L864 is red. So if you know, so I want to sound a little professional in this video, even though I sound dumb in this at the same time. Okay, so this has a 20, 30, 40, and 60 flash per minute night mode. Well, it had night modes. It has a quick burst backup night mode and a medium burst backup night mode. So in John Boy Ok's video, one of them, there's a little series of videos that he made just surrounding the 3000B and all its night modes. One of them was backup night mode, and the backup night mode seen in that video was the quick burst backup night mode, which is it's quicker than the official 8 night mode and all that stuff, and all that crap, and all that crap, and all. But I remember seeing the 3000B on the Rolla Highway Patrol Tower in backup night mode one morning a long time ago, and it had a medium burst night mode, so it has at least 2 backup night modes that we know of. I have no idea if it has a slow burst night mode. I don't know about that. So yeah, slow burst night mode is unknown for now, but that doesn't mean that it takes away from how many night modes it has. It has 6 night modes. Holy! Out of all three, I mean, out of all four 300, out of all 4 dual strobes, at least the ones that are at least the common one. Well, actually, I can actually include that white and red, the strobe 300 millimeter. So out of all 5 dual strobes, this here has the most night mode that I know of. When I found that out, I really started liking this beacon more and more. And there's also another night mode that John Boyok didn't cover, but there's only 4 red night modes. So I'm guessing this, the Highway Patrol Tower in Rolla has this night mode. I don't really exactly know which one it is, but I'm guessing it's a 20 flash per minute one. But it's a little different from the one seen in John Boy Ok's video, John Boy Ok's video of its 20 flash per minute night. So it might have like 5, or actually no, not 5. It's just the 20 flash per minute night mode, but with a little bit of a different flash duration. So there's that. Number 8, the Orga Dual L303. I really, really hope the image of the number 9 spot is not stuck on the screen. Okay, so hopefully you're able to see what I'm seeing right now. But we got the Orga Dual L303. So this here's white and red, L86 FA type L865, L864, It has three night modes: 20, 40, and 60 flash per minute night modes. Though backup night mode is unknown, so it might have a fourth night mode, but it's not known if it has a backup night mode or not. Hopefully it does, cause that'll be cool. And I even decided to use pink for the red and all that stuff in this picture for the special occasion, because that's kind of the color of the beacon at night on night mode, because it is just a red filter over the flash. So it kind of looks pinkish. It's not as red as its markers and stuff like that. If you don't know, I really like the idea of single strobes actually having the ability to shine both white and red. They look cool, and the night modes also look cool. Alright, man, I gotta go. I'm gonna be right back. Gotta brush. Okay, I'm back, and I don't really know where I left off. I kind of forget these small things. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I left off at just me explaining why I think single strobes that can shine white and red are so damn cool to me. So I already said they look cool. Day mode's nothing special though. Night mode looks cool because they always look pinkish in most cases, other than the Amaran UE tower that I recently filmed. It's FH306, or I believe, was very red, like FH324 level. Usually FH306s and L303s, they're not supposed. The night mode is not as red as the markers. You can see that in different videos. I don't know if there's some cases where some L303s, dual L303s, can be as red as some markers, like in FH306, like the Amaran UE tower. Uh, but yeah, it would be cool if so there could be a little bit of variety, like the FH306. Sometimes it could look very pink, and then sometimes it could look very red. It would be nice if the dual 303 did this too. So I really never seen this in person. The closest time that I could have ever seen this beacon in person was a faraway water tower somewhere close to Oklahoma City. But I don't think I ever noticed that water tower. There was another water tower that was close by that had an LED, and I ended up filming that one instead. So there's no nostalgia based around this. The reason why it's at least this high up on the list is because it's just very cool. Number 7. Brighter idea: strobe and incandescent 300mm. Yeah, man, you heard me right. There is such thing as a strobe and incandescent 300mm. And there's such thing as a full-on strobe 300mm. So remember when I made like 2 videos explaining how I wanted to kind of create this in the future? Well, guess what? Brighter Idea did that already, because they had an idea. Alright, so this here is a FA type L865, L864, aka white red beacon. So the night mode flash rates can probably vary, because the night mode part of it is essentially half of a normal 300mm, and controllers can control that. They can control the flash rate. So different controllers can give the beacon a faster flash rate and sometimes a slower flash rate. So it can really vary. And backup night mode is sadly unknown. There's barely any information about this beacon. There's no videos whatsoever about it, I believe. So yeah, no videos of it at all whatsoever. No videos of its day mode or night mode. That sucks. Merzen was very close to actually owning this beacon, along with quite a lot of 300mm. But that was a bet, and that was the bet he did not win. Somebody else won it, and that person was an asshole, because instead of keeping them after winning a bet, he just sold all of them at a higher price. Yeah, I know. What a. Anyways, I think this here is one of the coolest 300 millimeters ever. So the reason why it's this high on the list is because it's very, very cool. Even if there's no videos of it at all, of its day mode or night mode, or just the beacon itself. There's also a white only version of this beacon too, which it's half of a 300 millimeter, so it's essentially kinda a 150 millimeter, or at least that's the joke. And another very cool thing about this, if the owner of a tower that has this beacon decides to put an LED retrofit in the 300 the incandescent part of the 300 millimeter, it will essentially turn it into a TWR strobe and LED kind, that will also be cool, but the backup system probably wouldn't really work that good. I don't know. It can only work if the white part goes into backup night. You know, I should probably request a tower to Ryan C, since he's building a tower map on Unreal Engine, and we've been submitting request towers. If I do that, then I could well, if I would, I'll probably get that tower this beacon. But I don't want to bug him about that stuff. He already has quite a lot to work on, because there's like people requesting request towers after request towers in the tower server. And I already have 3 request towers along with a small candelabra based off me. I bet this beacon is pretty rare. I bet it's probably a Canadian beacon, if I had to be honest. So it might not be very, very well. I mean, it might be like very, very rare in America, but in Canada they might be thriving somewhat. Canada can have some pretty weird beacons, like the dual strobe 300 millimeter. Number 6, the FS09. It's red, which is L864. It has a slow fade and a quick fade, I heard. I'm pretty sure that its night modes can also vary, like a normal 300 millimeter or just an incandescent beacon in general. So the Walmart tower is the reason why I like this beacon a lot. So it's pretty cool, but the reason why it's this high on the list is because of nostalgia. And you guys might be angrily typing in the comment section right now, like, what the hell is this above the very, very cool brighter idea strobe and incandescent 300 millimeter? Well, because it's my opinion. This here is might not be cooler than that beacon, but this is nostalgic. Even like the other beacon has really no nostalgia. This one does. Back when I was smaller, back when I was littler in the early 2010s, I known what 300 millimeters looked like. I always thought they kind of looked like the tip of ink pens. So yeah, I always recognized them. But the Walmart tower, I knew it did have the same exact type of flash that those ink pen tip beacons had, but the shape was not the shape of the other beacons. So I always saw it as very different, and it was very different. And I saw it as very, very cool. Along with the tower itself, it looks pretty cool. So those 2 reasons are the reason why that tower is my favorite tower. But its FS 06 was replaced with an LED in 2016, sadly. So so that's all the nostalgic stuff about this beacon. Let's talk about why this beacon is pretty cool. So I like how the beacon is basically a 300 millimeter, but condensed into a normal single strobe, or at least a normal flash technology single strobe. It looks like the FH07, FH06, and FH08. Why did I not say that in order? I don't know. But it flashed like a 300 millimeter. That's the reason why I find this pretty cool. It might not have incandescent bulbs like a normal 300 millimeter and stuff. It has a halogen bulb in it. which I heard is essentially an incandescent bulb, I guess. So it's technically an incandescent beacon. So the tower community, including me, have been asking one big question for a little bit, back then at least. We're asking if flash technology had a 300 millimeter, and they don't. But they do have an incandescent beacon. This is essentially their incandescent beacon, even though it barely even lasted. It was so much a flop. It is a big flop in the industry, I guess. Well, that's what I heard. Flash Technology was embarrassed by it. They decided to completely ignore this beacon and erase it from all their memory. I mean, they decided to ignore it and act like it never existed. Yeah, and I can understand that because halogen is not a good light source, not as good as like LED and stuff, and it might be even worse than incandescent. I'm not sure, but it might be. I heard that it uses more power. So yeah, for nostalgic reasons and because the cool facts about it, it gained its number. This is the number 6 spot. Number 5. Yeah, move the screen. Okay, FH06. Y'all seen this coming. This was in the original video. You guys know that I'm not going to remove this from the top 10. I'm not going to put it in the top 20. So, it's white and red. LE64, LE65, you know, the thing. Crap. Has a normal 20 flash per minute night mode. And it has a white quick burst night mode. Oh crap, oh my, okay, I just realized I made a mistake here. It does not have a quick burst backup. It has a medium burst backup. I don't know if it even has a quick burst and a slow burst, long burst like the 324. This beacon is very nostalgic to me, along with very, very cool. Little mix nostalgia, little mix little. When I said and a little cool, and what I said earlier was very stupid. I should have said and it's very cool instead of and man, I don't even remember now. So let's get into the nostalgic stuff. So you guys should probably know this, but if you guys forgot, then I don't really blame. But the second Walmart tower, the one in Springfield, just the one that appears at least once in almost every Springfield art. That gray monopole. That tower there used to have an FH06, and it was the first tower I've ever seen with an FH06, and that was very cool to me. I remember I would go to Chuck E. Cheese, and it'll be getting dark. It'll still be in day mode, and I'll look out the window from time to time to see if it's in night mode. And when I would see it in night mode, I'll always just be like, "Wow, it's so pink." The shade of pink was basically this shade of pink here. Um, the markers were normal red, so you can definitely tell the difference. And I always thought it was very, very weird. But that's what made the tower very cool. So, my memory span of going to Springfield, I guess, goes all the way up to starts in 2011, I guess. Because after that, I don't really remember much. Maybe there's some stuff from 2010, maybe 2009 too. I don't know. When I started the YouTube channel, I really wanted to film it at night. And then the perfect time where I could have there could have been a more perfect time for me to film it at night. There's one time during the third Springfield, our hotel was literally facing that tower. I had the perfect view of it at day and night. So when I found it out, I was just like, "Holy hell! I'm able to. I'll film the FH06 at night. Yes, 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 yes. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go." But it got an LED at the worst time possible. Yeah, it literally got an LED around those few days. It might have been It might have been like a month or something before that vacation, but I'm not too sure. But I do know it got an LED at the world's most perfect time to film it at night. Nothing could have gone wrong. Nothing could have gone wrong, I said. And then the LED came. And there's no other video clips on the internet that shows this tower at night. I looked far into I looked far and wide, and I couldn't find any sort of video clip of Springfield at night that shows that tower. So I'll never be able to show you its night mode. But at least I do have proof it did have the beacon, since there were markers, visible markers on the tower. Alright, so the cool things about this beacon. It's a single strobe that shines white and red. What can go wrong? Other than the cone breaking and stuff, it's perfect, but it's not perfect when it comes to other factors that play their roles and stuff. I love this beacon. That's the reason why it's in my top 5. I like how its night mode is very pinkish. I think everybody but one person in the tower community likes this beacon. Sean does not like this beacon whatsoever because when it comes to his opinions on beacons, he doesn't like them or hate them because of opinions, nostalgia, or just how cool or lame the beacon is. He usually based his likes and dislikes of a beacon solely on its problems and other things, benefits and crap like that. And this beacon does have quite a lot of problems going for it. Like I said before, the filter breaks quite a lot. The motor that lifts the filter up also breaks. And it's not fully red, it's pinkish, like I said before. So Sean doesn't like this beacon. And you're probably wondering, does he like the L303? Well, surprisingly, yes, he does. He says that's the FH306, but like 20,000 times better. He didn't actually say that. He did say he liked it more. Because that one actually doesn't have the problems that this one has. I heard it has a good filter, good motor that lifts up the filter. It's still pinkish. It's not fully red, but it's whatever. Despite all this beacon's flaws, I really, really like the beacon. Because even if a beacon has problems, like major problems, I still like it. I'm the type of tower enthusiast who likes beacon malfunction. And this one malfunctions a lot because of the problems I've stated already. So that's another reason why this here is an awesome beacon to me. Beacon malfunctions are cool. Okay, is okay. Number 4. The TWR Modern 300mm. Okay, hold on. Just hold on. I'm talking to you, Aiden. If you're pulling out your gun ready to shoot me down, I'm going to tell you now. I don't really know any other modern 300mm that I can put in this spot. So I just decided to put the TWR modern 300mm in this spot because in the original list, my 4th favorite beacon was basically a type of beacon and not just a beacon itself. I don't want to be vague like back then. So this beacon is pretty cool, but it is like it's basically like any other modern 300mm you would see. The cool thing about this beacon is how it's still being sold. TWR is actually still selling these, and thanks to that, towers are actually able to newer towers are able to get this beacon, though it is very rare. So yeah, if it wasn't for this beacon, then newer towers with 300mm like that 2018 tower that's in Ohio somewhere that has 300mm, it would not have 300mm. I believe at least it might have TWR modern 300mm. Number 3. Oh crap! Wait! No, not number 3. This beacon is obviously red, LA64, and night mode depends on what flash rays used, so it can vary. And now, Number 3, the HP Old School 300mm. It's also red only, LA64. And the night mode varies too, depending on flasher. There's a lot of cool stuff to unpack with this beacon. So this beacon, on the nostalgic side, there's not much nostalgia, to be honest. Though I bet a lot of the old school 300mm I've seen back in the past when I was littler, I bet a lot of them were this. I heard this here is a very, very common 300mm. Probably the most common old school 300mm. Let's get into some things that I like about it. I like how it's just a little pinkish, and depending on the shape of the filters inside, if they're broken and stuff, they can be more and more pink. Another thing that I like about it is the cap. The Not the cap, but you know what I'm talking about. It's actually an electric box for the top bar. I like how the top of it is round and it has the logo on. Last thing, I love the bottom of it. I like the type of feet it has. It just kind of looks cool. It has 4 feet on it, and they all look cool. 300mm in general might not be my favorite beacon, like a lot of tower enthusiasts like Merzen and Aiden. Their favorites are 300mm. But at least this one is on the number 3 spot. This will never be my favorite beacon. Sorry, Aiden, but yeah, I'm a strobe boy. I like them day modes and night modes, but at least it's this high on the list. Alright, enough talk. Number 2. DFA Trio 8. White, obviously, L865. It has quick burst, medium burst, and long burst night modes. Pretty sure it doesn't have any more other than that. This beacon is nostalgic. The first Lil's Tower used to have this. Another tower in St. Robert used to have this. Both of those towers are very nostalgic towers to me. And that one tower in St. James has this beacon, possibly, along with that other one that's past St. James, next to the Lawlines Tower. That might possibly have this beacon. If not, then they have 306 that are now only shine. Both of those towers are also nostalgic. There's quite a lot of nostalgic towers in my area that have this beacon, and that's why I like the beacon a lot. I even thought the red and white tower, that tall guy in red and white tower, in Rolla had this, but apparently it does actually has a TWR white only strobe. But out of all those towers, the first Lowe's Tower is the one tower that made this beacon pretty nostalgic for me. And yes, I know. Nowadays, the two Lowe's Towers are just looked at are they're kind of looked at as those two towers that are so praised for just being normal cell towers, and they're kind of bullied a lot around in the tower server. I mean, tower community kind of. Every time you mention either one of the towers, especially the second one, people will make jokes about it. But seriously, guys, like those towers are the reason why the FH324 and FH308 beacons are very nostalgic to me. I remember every time I would walk out of Kohl's at night, I would always see that the first Lowe's Towers 308 on night mode. It had the quick burst night mode, if you forgot, and that was very cool to see. And back then, in first and second grade, I also used to ride the bus to school and from school and to school. So every morning when I would get on the bus, we would usually trade buses for some reason, and we will always go to the Rolla movie theater. And if you looked that up on Google Maps, you would see that you're able to see the two Lowe's Towers. And knowing that it was morning, and this was a different time before the second Lowe's Towers FS324 had some very questionable times for its beacon to go to night mode and day mode. So every time I would go to a movie theater to change buses, sometimes it'll still be in night mode, and sometimes it would be in day mode, and other times I would actually see it go to day mode, and I thought it was pretty cool. And around this time it'll be like 7, yeah, somewhere around 7. So yeah, the sun will almost completely be out, but it will still be kind of dark. So so both towers would still be on night mode. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also went to this trailer park that's actually far away from Rolla, kinda. It's on 72. That trailer park doesn't exist anymore, sadly. But every time I would see it, I mean, every time I would go there to pick for the bus to pick up some kids and stuff, I would always see the two lowest towers, all the way at the distance, and sometimes both of them will be on night mode. One of them will be on day mode, and the other will be on night mode. And then sometimes they'll both go to day mode around the same time and stuff. So yeah, that's the reason why those towers are nostalgic to me, along with the beacons that they used to have. So if you're wondering why this beacon is all the way up on the number 2 spot, then you can thank the nostalgia. Alright, now then. There are no honorable mentions. Number 1. So obviously, the FH324 is still my favorite, which is very controversial knowing how overused this beacon is. But I grew up with this beacon being around the entirety of Missouri and stuff, or at least the areas I go or and live at. Alright, so this here is a white and red beacon, FAA type LA65, LA64. It has a normal 20 flash per minute night mode, which is the good night mode. It also has a quick burst backup night mode, medium burst backup night mode, and a long burst backup night mode. I can confirm I've seen all 3 backup night modes, so I know they're real. So the quick burst backup night mode, you know that one Verizon tower, FM tower kinda, that's past Doolittle? If you guys remember, it's next to that cookie cutter tower. Well, before that cookie cutter tower was actually built, like right before it was built, that other tower's FH324 went into backup night mode, and that's the flash rate it had. I mean, they all had the same flash, but it had the quick burst night mode. This beacon is nostalgic to me. This beacon used to be everywhere in my area. There's lots of paths that had towers with this beacon. Um, that's another reason why I like it a lot. Some of those paths made this beacon nostalgic. The second lowest tower also made it nostalgic, and a few other towers here and there made this beacon nostalgic. Sadly, this beacon only has 4 night modes. Obviously, already stated every single one. Oh yeah, I forgot. So that was the quick burst night mode I've seen, backup night mode. It was on that one tower, past Doolittle. The medium burst, I also seen that on the that half cell tower, half microwave tower in Rolla that has an FH324. I seen that on backup night mode like 4 times, I'm pretty sure. Then the long burst night mode, it was demonstrated in one of John Boy Ok's old videos of the beacon. Probably his first one that he ever made of this beacon. So yeah, it's able to have all 3 of those night modes. So yeah, here's some more second lowest tower talk. Which, even though the second lowest tower is the butt of the joke nowadays about tower when it comes to towers and stuff, I still like it. It's still nostalgic to me, and that's the reason why it's still my second favorite tower. Back when I used to ride the bus to school every morning in first and second grade, I would always see that tower. Sometimes it'll be in night mode, and other times it'll be in day mode. And I also used to go to this gymnastics place because my sister did gymnastics, and you're able to see the 2 Lowe's towers from a little bit of a distance when you're in the correct spot where trees aren't blocking it. And sometimes we will stay there until it will get dark and stuff. Like, not completely dark, but enough for both towers to be in night. So it was very nostalgic seeing both towers on night mode from that distance and stuff. And after all those gymnastic shows and practices and all stuff that I used to go to because my sister, which I should have mentioned when I was talking about the FH08, but well. And yeah, every time people ask me why is this your favorite beacon, just like, because it's cool. It's so common. You complain about the FTS 370 being common. Well, they're not, like, they're even more common than this beacon in my area. Really, that beacon is wiping this one off the map. There's so many towers in my area that used to have this beacon, but now have the FTS 370. This beacon is still cool to me, even though it is very common. But like I said before, it is being wiped off the map in Missouri because the FTS 370 back in 2018 and 2019 and to some extent 2020, LEDs were rapidly replacing this beacon here and there and everywhere. In the end of the day, it is pretty unique that this here's my favorite beacon because a lot of other people, their favorite beacons are more rare beacons and stuff. And if my favorite beacon was just another rare beacon, I would just be like them. So, knowing that my favorite beacon is a common beacon, it makes me stand out a little bit. And I'm also able to film it at day and night, almost anytime, kind of almost anytime I want. Alright, that was my top 10 beacons version 2. Okay, so I'm really out of ideas for subscriber specials. So once I reach 700 subscribers, what clever? I mean, not clever, but what cool idea can I do for that special? So that was that. See y'all later, and bye.